Hi folks, welcome to Friday's Coffee with John. We continue to look at the evidence, the testimonies that God has given to Jesus Christ. Talking with people again this week who are asking about what evidence is there. Now, a lot of my atheist friends kind of go along the line, there can't be any evidence because there is no God, but that just becomes a circular argument. So what is the evidence that God has given? And he's talked about the Spirit, the water, and the blood. And we've seen that what that means is that is in effect the historical evidence about Jesus Christ. It is the Bible evidence about Jesus Christ. And why should we accept that? Verse 9 of 1 John 5. We accept human testimony, but God's testimony is greater because it is the testimony of God which is given about his Son. So we do accept human testimony. I don't know, have you ever believed somebody and then it turns out that what they said was either mistaken or even indeed a complete falsehood that they just made up? It's why testifying is considered to be so important in a court, that you've got to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Would that that were the case. That's why we get so many injustices when that doesn't happen. But there are certain people who have more credibility than other people. There are people who I listen to and I think, yeah, I'm going to listen to you a bit more because you have more credibility. So to give you an example, I'm looking at my screen just now of Neil Ferguson. And I give him a lot of credibility as a historian. And when he warns us about the possibility of a coming war, I take that on board. Much more than I would somebody else I sometimes engage with. That's Alistair Campbell, Tony Blair's former spin doctor, who lied us into a war. So there are people we would trust, and there are people we don't trust. But even the ones that we trust are limited. They can be wrong. And all of us can lie. It's the psalmist who says in Psalm 116, I said in my haste that all men are liars. Well, actually, that's not such a bad thing. We can all be deceitful and tell lies, except God. We accept human testimony, but God's testimony is greater because it's the testimony of God which is given about his Son. This is my Son, whom I love. With him I am well pleased. Listen to him. So God is really saying, in these last days, Hebrews 1 says, he has spoken to us by his Son. The Son is the ultimate testimony, and the one who testifies to the Son is God himself. The Holy Spirit, as John has been talking about, gives us the accounts that John has written of in his gospel as well. So I think that's a wonderful certainty we have. You know, sometimes people will say, well, let's look at the archaeological evidence, or let's look at the historical evidence, or let's look at the literary evidence, or let's look at the evidence of changed lives. And all of those are completely valid, and I'm fascinated by them all. And I've spoken about different evidences. But this is my greatest evidence. My greatest evidence is Jesus Christ. And what I believe about Jesus is what God has revealed about Jesus. What more do we need? This is God saying, this is my Son. So, you know, I've had a new delight recently just reading again. Well, I've been reading recently again just through the Gospel of Luke, and just how delightful and beautiful and wonderful Jesus is. It's the testimony of God. He's given about his Son. What more proof and evidence and testimony do we need? God bless you. The new podcast, The Quantum of the Wee Flea, is out just now. I've got a couple of new articles on the website as well, and we'll do the Sunday Catechism for Sunday. And hopefully I shall see you again on Monday as we move towards the end of this wonderful letter. God bless you and bye.